All right, on the bench today is a vintage Electro Harmonix Hot Tubes. Hot Tubes was released back in the late '70s, and is a highly sought after vintage overdrive. Despite its name, it is not a tube pedal, but a solid state CMOS circuit, designed to mimic an overdriven tube amplifier. The old Hot Tubes uses a CMOS inverter chip, and it creates a rich, chunky, very loud, distorted output. And it's housed obviously in the big box, vintage big box chassis that is so iconic of the Electro Harmonix guitar pedals, like the Electric Mistress and Memory Man. The issue is the customer sent this in, says, because it was missing the transformer, and it was wired for AC volts. So he asked me to replace the transformer, put a new transformer in, and power cord. After looking at it, I realized, hey, why don't we just drop a DC power jack and wire it up for Boss style DC power jack? So he agreed, and it shouldn't be an issue. So let's dive in. Let's see what happens, and see you on the other side of this. All right, so I got the board pulled, and as you can tell, pretty simple. Like I was saying, the CMOS chip that's under this potentiometer here. But what I'm going to do for my customer is I'm going to eliminate all this in the power supply section, and all I'm going to do is for the DC power jack is I'm going to put the positive from the DC power jack here on this emitter of this transistor, and the negative from the DC power jack on the negative side. This circuit, briefly, in a nutshell, without going into a lot of detail, this 1N960 is a 9-volt Zener. It regulates the output of this transistor at 9 volts here. So with this diode drop through the transistor, probably about 8.7, 8.9. But with the DC power jack, it'll be a full 9 volts. So anyway, this transistor in the schematic is this transistor here, and this is all the power supply section here. So let me get to that, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, what I did was, you can see where I've replaced the DC power jack, and then this is the cable that the positive plugs in where that transistor was. The negative plugs into a negative part. There was a couple of electrolytic capacitors at this point. Remove the big capacitor that allows room for this cable to run along on the inside. We swapped out all the electrolytic capacitors, checked them, they were bad. I'm gonna put it back together, and we're gonna check it out. All right, so finished the mod, put the 9-volt DC power jack in, wired it up like a Boss guitar pedal with a Boss power pack. You can see I'm running a Boss AC adapter from my Variac into this Hot Tube. So no longer do we have the transformer. It is running straight off a DC power jack. So any kind of One Spot or Voodoo Labs, any one of their power packs or bricks will do the trick. And it seems like that's a pretty cool mod. And it sounds great too. So we'll crank her on. These things are loud, and the volume is not even up. Anyway, peace out, rock on.